but he's with us now, Bill Simmons. Bill, welcome. How are you?
I'm not over it.
You're not over it yet? Okay.
No, I'm not. Okay. No. That was terrible.
Can we be serious for a second? Let's be serious for a second here, and then we'll fool around. But let's be serious for a second. Tell me what you can tell us, shed some light, maybe even give us something we don't know about this whole Colangelo thing, which was broken by the Ringer. And tell me what you can, if there's anything new or anything you can shed some light on.
There's nothing new I can really tell you. It's a story that we've been working on for 4 months,
right?
And just the writer got tipped and started really chasing it and trying to figure out what the commonalities were between these 5 Twitter accounts that had all these things in common, and eventually how they may or may not have tied to Bryan Colangelo. And as we covered in the piece, we approached the Sixers about 2 of the accounts, and then wanted to see what would happen to the other 3. And after we kind of alerted them that we knew about these 2 accounts, the other 3 went dark. And that's when we, started to wonder, all right, what's going on here? But, we still don't know. We're still waiting to see what the explanation is for all the different ways that these 5 accounts seem to be intertwined with Colangelo. It's the biggest story we've had at the Ringer. It's also, I think, one of the weirdest stories. I think it's really kind of on par with like the Monte Teo catfish stuff, and just
gotcha.
It's just a really strange story. And I think people were just kind of riveted by it, and we've been hearing about it for 36 hours.
Do you? Is there any possibility, even remotely, that his statements that someone's out to get me, that there is some, other force at work here? Is it a guy who just got caught with his hand in a cookie jar, or is it even remotely possible that there's any truth to that?
Honestly, I don't know, and I don't want to speculate. I know it sounds like a cop-out, but I just don't know. I'm on the edge of my seat waiting to find out more like everybody else. Okay. All we were able to do is lay out the case, like, here all these really bizarre coincidences. What does this mean? And, the internet has taken it and run with it the last 2 days, but we're still trying to find out resolution. It seems like at some point we're going to be able to figure out who was behind the account.
We're talking about Bill Simmons, obviously a very big story, as Bill said, a very big piece of reporting for The Ringer. So kudos to you guys and all the people who worked on it. So they deserve a lot of credit for this. And at a time, you couldn't plan it better, because people go out of their way, and as you know, and maybe the fans don't, people hold stories for weeks to launch them before any big event. Like they'll hold a college story until the Final Four. Here on the eve of the NBA Finals, to have this story come forward is, the timing is perfect.
Yeah, we did. That was not entirely intentional, but we did find out that was kind of the greatest night to have a story like that. The day after everybody just been in this basketball grind for 10 straight days. We had games, and then the drama kind of kept building, and then we had 2 Game 7s, and then all of a sudden that Tuesday was such a letdown. There's nothing going on. The Stanley Cup had been the night before. And then that story popped up. And it goes to the bigger thing here is that just the NBA now is this 12-month-a-year sport. And it's a 365-day sport. And every time you think there's going to be a lull, something else happens. You think like last summer, we got to August finally, and we'd have this crazy offseason, all these trades. And then it's like, all right, things have finally calmed down. And then the Kyrie Irving soap opera started. And now it's another 3 weeks. And I think what we're seeing year after year now is the interest in the league, people knowing kind of not just what's going on the court, but also the transactions, whose contracts up, how much cap space somebody has, what somebody do with the draft. The finals is going to end. I think it's going to go 5.
Yeah, I think that's the break-even point. It's big if they get this to 6. It was an achievement.
It was totally.
Yes.
So let's say it ends in 5.
Yes.
Now we move right to the draft.
Absolutely.
Now it's a week of the draft. What's going to happen? What's going on with this Luka kid? Will he come over? Who's Phoenix taking? What are the Knicks going to do? Are the Clippers going to trade up? All this stuff's going to.
And then the LeBron stuff starts. Yes, and then we get
then LeBron and July 1st.
Yep.
And that goes 2 weeks, and now it's and summer league now is a real thing. Vegas and these rookies going there, and that became a thing last year. Now we're in the third week of July, and then if one other thing happens, all of a sudden we're getting close to training camp. And for me, this is what the NFL used to be like.
That's what the other leagues have done, and now the NBA's done it also, and that is you have to be a 12-month league, and you have to have a definable offseason that gets an enormous amount of attention. Baseball does with the hot stove, and NFL has done it for years. Their draft is a huge non-event, and now the NBA has it.
But I would argue baseball is 100% not a 12-month year sport now. And I don't think football is either. I think football dies for 2 months now.
No, I disagree. I think there's enough speculation that takes you to free agency and then to the draft. The draft speculation's for months, so I think that's big enough.
Right now.
Right.
But right now, when was the last football conversation you had? Once we got through the draft, this guy went here, this guy went there. It does die down for about the NBA kind of takes over now for about 8 weeks there.
Yeah, I think June, but I give you that. Right now is the lull period until camps open. I agree that's it. But I think very little, and I think that's what the NBA has done a very good job of. There's no question, and they've made it. But a lot of it, let's be honest, a lot of it deals with LeBron James every year, it seems. I mean, it seems like he is so much a part of this. Like right now, that's a bigger story in every way than the finals is, because nobody thinks the finals are going to give us anything special. That the LeBron story any day now could easily eclipse the finals if there was anything to actually tell.
So I've heard this argument, and I 50% agree with you, because I just think the mechanisms for following basketball now are better. And I think the internet and Twitter and social and Instagram, all this stuff, we're just connected constantly. Podcasts, 24/7 radio stations. If you think of just go back to 93. Jordan retires. Go back, then the next year, Jordan might come back. We would have spent the whole summer of 94 talking. It would have been the same process for that. Is Jordan coming back? What's he going to do? And then you go 95, Jordan does come back. And then 97 and 98, is Jordan going to retire? Is this the last year of the Bulls? And then we would have gone through with Shaq and Kobe. I just think the NBA is like this, and I think we just care more than we used to. And I think for kids under 30, this is their league. They care about these guys more than they care about Saquon Barkley. It's just a fact. Football is still bigger, but I think the personalities of basketball are just more important now.
I think basketball has grown. I think it's grown more than the other two sports. I give you that. It's not. Listen, nothing's ever going to be as big as the NFL. We know that, but we know that, and we know why. But the NBA has done a good job and a very good job of marketing their stars on a first-name basis often to the kids. A big part of it is the apparel. Yeah. The apparel is an enormous part of it, but there is a connection with social media, and there also is a connection to music. There's a connection to culture that they intertwine with better than the other athletes do.
Yeah, and there's no helmets. I think obviously that helps. The careers are way longer. LeBron's 15 years now. Who goes 15 years in the NFL?
No.
Tom Brady, Drew Brees.
Right, except for quarterbacks. And the big guys are bigger in their sport. They're more dominant, too. The big guys are more dominant than in any other sport because they make such a difference.
Yeah, exactly. So, Aaron Rodgers is on a bad team. Guess what? He's going to go 7-9. He might be able to drag him to 9-7 and lose the wild card game. LeBron James on a bad team, he makes the NBA Finals.
It's true.
Yes. He plays 48 minutes in Game 6 and Game 7. I mean, when Wilt did this in the 60s.
Yes, he did.
He played 48-minute games. But basketball is completely different, and he was much bigger and stronger than baseball.
And a lot of times he didn't run the floor on every play either. So I mean,
different sport.
Because I watched him play actually, and Wilt was a wonderful talent. He was a great player. I actually saw him play in person on 2 occasions, which was pretty special. So, but he was also a confusing figure on a different level. But give me this: we're talking about Bill Simmons. Let me double back to the beginning now to the Celtics. What was the reaction? First of all, you're a big Celtic fan, a very big one.
Yeah.
Give me your reaction. Give me Boston's reaction to a loss that I don't think they were expecting.
For Game 7?
Yes.
The thing that I'm going to be wondering about on my deathbed, as we do, you always remember the losses more than the wins. And you have them in every sport, and you wonder why Grady Little left Pedro in. It's all all the bad stuff. I'll never understand how Jeff Green played 2 straight good games. I watched that guy. He was on the Celtics. He's been on six teams, 7 teams maybe. Just this talented, disappointing guy who one night would have 31 points and the next night would have 0. And just could not put it together back-to-back games. Kevin Love goes out 5 minutes into Game 6. And LeBron just doesn't have the help at that point. He actually needs Jeff Green to play well. This guy that all these different teams have counted on, who has let down everybody. And Jeff Green plays 2 really good games in a row.
Yeah, wonderful Game 7. Yeah, played a wonderful Game 7.
And was the second-best Cav in Game 7.
No, absolutely.
I understand the missing shots. The Celtics was full of gold the whole year. You never knew when the shots were going to go in. Marcus Smart would miss 10 in a row and then make 2 straight. That's just a team they had. But if Jeff Green doesn't show up in that game, the Cavs can't get to 70 points.
Who bothers you more, Brown or Rozier?
Neither. Honestly, they never changed who they were. The team the whole year was like, we're going to shoot open threes. Every shot they did was a wide open shot. I actually thought like the Boston shots that they got in Game 7. Houston had some open shots, but Golden State's a way, way better team, and they're better defensively, and a lot of those shots were contested. Boston, those shots were wide open.
Boston got a million open shots. A million, and that's what has to kill them because the game just got big for those kids. Boston got a million open shots in that game. A million.
Well, and you know this too. Like, to me, the Game 7s are just the greatest. The Game 7 over anything else in basketball, you can feel it in the arena. It's a different energy.
No question.
There's real adrenaline and there's real pressure, and it's really, you can feel it. And people, I think the tendency is people think, oh, they choked, or oh, the pressure cracked them. It's not that. It's not a choking thing. It's like an adrenaline thing. It's so intense in the building that it throws people off. It makes them take crazy shots. It makes them think that they should shoot this 25-footer with 15 seconds left, and it saps them of energy, and they don't have the same legs in the second half. And there really is something to having the experience of playing those games that you cannot calculate. And it's one of the reasons I love basketball.
Enormously. Absolutely. And I'll tell you the other unsung thing there. In the second half, Thompson did a really good job on Horford. He really did. In the second half. Because Horford killed them with Thompson off the court in the second quarter, and then he did a really good job on him in the second half.
Well, we both subscribe to the same theory that you can drive yourself crazy with these different must-win games, Super Bowl, Game 7, whatever, but ultimately, if you have a flaw, the big game is going to find the flaw, right? Like the worst loss of my life, 86 World Series is the worst loss of my life. Our flaw that year was our closer. We had just a hodgepodge of dudes. They all stunk. Calvin Schiraldi came up. I never totally trusted him. He melted down in the Angel series. And he was the Achilles heel of that team. And he couldn't get through the 9th inning when we needed him. That's why we lost the World Series. This Celtics team, their best player in their team, I wrote about it on TheRinger.com over the weekend, was Jayson Tatum, who's 20.
Oh,
who didn't realize he was the best player in the team.
By far.
And there was a moment in that fourth quarter, which 5 years from now, he'll know. He'll get it. He'll be like, guys, get out of the way. I got this. But when you're 20, you don't know that. He dunked over LeBron. He hit a 3 and touched the ball again.
He never saw the ball for 4 minutes. After the 3 off the dunk, which was about to make him Larry Bird, he never touched the ball for 4 minutes.
Right. So 5 years from now, what happens?
He gets it every time down the floor. Down the floor, every single time.
I got this.
That's it.
And that was the flaw of this team, was once Kyrie and Hayward went out, Tatum was the best guy on the team, and he's 20, and he doesn't understand how to be the best guy on the team yet. And that's not his fault. He's 20. He's going to be one of the best Celtics of all time, I think.
I think he's going to be a wonderful player. I totally agree.
Yeah.
He's going to be a really and he's got an edge to him which you love. I mean, just the brush against LeBron after the dunk is it's great to watch. It really is.
And they did, but believe me, they didn't know either. They thought he was the best player in the draft. They thought he had a chance to be a multiple-time All-Star. They did not know they were getting a franchise guy and somebody that potentially could be the best wing in the entire league. They had no idea. You just don't know sometimes.
What is the best case? We're talking about Bill Simmons. What is the best case scenario in your mind for Cleveland in this series? What's the absolute best you can give them in this series?
I think they lose tonight. I think Game 2 you turn it into one of those ugly LeBron games, limited possessions, has no flow, he's getting a lot of calls. It's, 75 to 74 with 5 minutes left. And the thing with LeBron, he's trying to shorten these games. It's a little like, you'll like this analogy. It's like the Parcells-Belichick, that Bills Super Bowl. Let's just shorten the game.
Shorten the game.
Let's take a 60-minute game and make it a 35-minute game.
First words he told Ron Ayler, shorten the game.
Yeah, and that's what LeBron's trying to do with these games, especially on the road, to shorten the game. So the Celtics, in the second quarter of Game 7, they were up 12, and they could never extend it, and they could never kind of make it so that it would have been impossible to come back. And once it got to the fourth quarter, now it's LeBron time. He's shortening the game. And if he can do that, he needs to do that in Game 1 or Game 2. He needs to steal one of the first two. And then, honestly, I don't think the only way they can win is in 7. They can't beat this team 4-6, 4-5. That's
just leave it right there. They can't beat this team 4 times. I'm sorry. I've seen a lot of basketball in my life. I can't even, and I'm rooting for Cleveland as heavily as humanly possible. I can't even come up with. If you gave me another injury, I'm not sure they would win. And give me Iguodala out for the series, and give me one more. I mean, if I could take Durant out of the series, that's a different story. But you see, the problem is Durant. Durant's game has risen to a level where it is a problem for LeBron on a lot of nights by itself.
Right.
By itself.
And LeBron, in Game 7, LeBron really saved himself on defense. And I think some people think, but he had that block on Rozier. He was playing defense. It's not about that. It's about how much energy can he save.
He has to save it. He has to play 48 minutes. He's got to rest on defense. He has no choice.
So in the first half, Jaylen Brown took 8 3-pointers, and he made 2. All right, why did he take 8 3-pointers? Because LeBron wasn't guarding him.
Yeah, never chased him. Never chased him. Yeah,
and
absolutely.
He's basically like, hey, Jaylen, God bless you.
Yeah, take it.
Today.
Take it, yeah.
Game 7, you're 21 years old. I think you're going to short arm me. And so with LeBron, they steal Game 2, probably win 3 or 4. It's 2-2 going into Game 5. You lose Game 5. Go back to Cleveland. He shoots 28 free throws. They win Game 6. He just has to get it to Game 7, because if he gets Game 7 and he's the best guy on the court and he can shorten the game, they could win the series. Do I think that's going to happen? No.
If I see a Game 7 in this series, I will be the most stunned guy in America, I tell you right now. And I'm rooting hard for them, but I can't even see it. They just, listen, they are, let me put it mildly, and you know this, they are putrid defensively. Putrid.
They're bad.
Oh, terrible. They're terrible defensively.
The one thing with LeBron as the series goes on though is what if it goes the wrong way? What if they're down 3-0? I think at that point we have to start wondering if it's realistic that he leaves. That he just looks at this and goes, "These guys have a super team. I will never win the title if I'm in the situation I'm in now. I've got to figure out a new team."
Well, let me ask you right now, and that's the biggest thing before we go, and that is, do you think right now that he's gone? We're all going to give him a loss in the series. If he wins the series, forget it. All bets are off. Okay, I'll fly to Cleveland for the parade. If they lose the series, which we all think they will, is he in your mind gone from Cleveland?
I have no idea, and I don't think he knows either. And this is something I wrote about in February. There's no perfect situation for him. There's no team that we can go, oh, that makes sense. I think if they get killed, if they lose in 4, and he looks at it and goes, I need to be on a super team, I think Houston becomes really realistic. If he's just looking at, you know what, I made 8 straight finals, I'm a contender wherever I go. It doesn't matter what team I'm on. Either he stays in Cleveland or he goes to Lakers, and then Philly is kind of lurking as a wild card. We should mention, though, the last time I was on, you and I both said Cleveland-Boston was going 7, and we liked the plus 110 for the 7-game series.
Absolutely. Loved it in 7 games. I thought, and it was the easiest series to predict of all time. That's it. And I thought 7-game was a toss-up. And not only that, I thought it was the easiest series to predict game in and game out than any series I've ever seen in my life. It was the easiest series to bet on in the history of mankind.
Well, so now we both like Golden State and 5.
I can't, the only thing I see that it doesn't make it 5 is 4. I mean, I can't see 6. I can't see 6.
So there's a bet the series will be 5 games or less is -10.
I think that I would listen. I wouldn't bet it for this reason. I don't want to root against them. So, but I think that's the logical play. Obviously, logically.
Yeah, I think 5, and if he makes it to even 6, it's amazing.
If they get to 6, it's almost like they won if they go 6 games.
Seriously, there's too much of it.
What's courtside at the NBA? What's courtside at the NBA Finals?
So that's coming June 19th on HBO.
Right.
It's the show that I've always wanted to see, which is basically, inside the NFL after the Super Bowl when they have that awesome show and the guys are mic'd.
Are you going to shoot it for every game?
Oh, yeah, we're shooting it for every game, but it's going to be one show afterwards that's going to parachute in.
And how long is the show going to be? How long is the show going to be?
This one's going to be an hour.
An hour show on everything that happens in the series.
Everything, the narratives, but really like what it's like. I think the problem with the NBA is the season ends and it's all like what's going to happen, what's about to happen. But then when it's over, there's no big picture like, all right, what happened? And I think that's what we're trying to do with this. I'm pretty confident it's going to be
all right, courtside at the NBA Finals. It'll debut June 19th on HBO.
Yes.
This is WFN and WFN FM New York at 5 o'clock. Aaron Boone in a minute. Let me say this. If tonight they open with an open that is absolutely as ludicrous and as bad as the Stanley Cup Finals did, you have to make sure you pan it because that open was the worst thing I've ever seen, okay?
I doubt they will do that. I can't see that happen.
All right. Thanks for coming on. Enjoy it.
All right. Thanks, Mike.
Goodbye. Bill Simmons, courtside at the NBA Finals, debuts June 19th, a 1-hour show, recapping. Hey, I would give anything to see this series go 7 games. I would give anything. I'd pay money to have them win this series. I would just like to watch it and have them win this series. I wish I could believe that was true. I don't. I think it's 5 games, and I hope I'm wrong. I would love to be wrong, but I'd say it's 5, and that's pushing it. 5 is it. You never look in sweeps. 5 is it. If it went 6, I think it's a great moral victory for Cleveland. We'll be back in just a minute.